Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, June the 60th, 2016, and as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys. Hope you had a fabulous weekend. Let's start in the NBA, where so far the NBA Finals has been a disaster. Golden State leads Cleveland 2-0. Golden State just blew out Cleveland last night. What was it, like a 40-point game? This was an absolute blowout. Thompson and Curry didn't even have big games, and Golden State still blew Cleveland off the court. Cleveland, what planet are you on? What kind of performance was this? This is the NBA Finals. They didn't even show up. LeBron James, a bad game. Irving, where are you? Terrible game. Love, another injury. He goes out with a concussion. Where's the Cleveland role players? Where's the Cleveland bench? This is an NBA Finals? So far, this is a disaster. I feel like I'm watching Golden State play Brooklyn in the regular season. Terrible performance by the Cavaliers. A complete no-show for the first two games. And they have no shot of winning this. I know they haven't lost a home game yet. I know you never out of the series until you lose your first home game. But I mean, have they shown you anything here that makes you believe they're going to win this series? They're going to win 4 of the next 5 games? Not going to happen. I mean, this series is over. Good night. Goodbye. I am shocked at how bad Cleveland is playing here. I mean, Cleveland had a very good season. They steamrolled through the playoffs for the most part. Had a couple bad losses against Toronto, but still won in 6 games. I thought Cleveland would be much better this year. Remember, they lost to Golden State last year, but Love and Irving didn't play. What a terrible performance by the Cavaliers. And I'm not going to put this all on LeBron James. LeBron James is not going to go out there and get 50 points and win the game by himself. Golden State's got guys that can guard him, multiple guys. You can't put this all on James. Where's Irving? He was so great in the playoffs. He's been a no-show in these first 2 games. Where was he last night? 10 points. And Kevin Love again with these injuries. Concussion last night. He's always got some sort of ailment, Kevin Love. And where are the rest of the Cleveland players? Where's the bench players? Where's the role players? In game 1, what did they get outscored 1,010 off the bench? Terrible performance by the Cavaliers. This is the NBA Finals? This has been absolutely horrible. I mean, you didn't even have to watch any of that game last night. This series is over. I'm sorry, this series is over. I'm sure maybe Cleveland will win game 3, but they're not going to win the series. No way. This series is over. Good night. Goodbye. There is no way Cleveland can come back and win this series now. What a dreadful performance by the Cavaliers. An absolute no-show. And again, the Cleveland fans. Oh, no city has suffered more than the Cleveland fans with all their teams. The Browns, the Indians, the Cavaliers, LeBron James leaving, then coming back. I mean, no city has suffered more than Cleveland. And here we go again. They're not going to win it again this year. Oh, this was a terrible performance and hard to believe. This was a Golden State team that was down 3-1 to Oklahoma City. They got blasted in 2 games in OKC. They're down in Game 6 by 6 points with 5 minutes to go. They were on the ropes there. They were lucky to beat Oklahoma City. I can't believe Cleveland has come up with this kind of performance. They lost by 40 points last night. It's a terrible job. Awful performance by the Cavaliers. This series is over. Good night. Golden State is going to repeat. Like I said, Cleveland, they may get game 3, but they're not going to win this series. They have too much to do. And Curry and Thompson have not even had big games yet. Not going to happen. You can't put this on LeBron James. There's no way you can expect him to go out there and score 60 points and win the game by himself. Having said that, he did not play well last night. He's got to do a better job. And Irving, so disappointed with him. And we'll see if Love even plays the next game. He's got a concussion. And the rest of the Cleveland team, a complete no-show. Awful job by the Cavaliers. Awful NBA Finals. And I know a lot of people that don't like basketball. And this is the reason why. First of all, the best teams in the NBA usually win. So you don't even really have to watch the whole season. You know who's going to win. I knew at the beginning of the year Golden State was going to play Cleveland and Golden State was going to win. There's no drama there. You always have the best teams in the NBA make it to the finals and win the finals. You're not going to get an 8th seed in the NBA, win the NBA Finals. It's not going to happen. I mean, you didn't get even that many upsets in the whole playoffs this year. How many upsets did you really have? I mean, don't give me OKC over San Antonio. That's not a big upset. So this has been terrible. I mean, if you don't like the NBA, I mean, this is the perfect thing to put up on your bulletin board. I mean, this has been terrible so far. Awful NBA Finals so far. I don't think it gets any better. I think Golden State's going to win. I think this is going to be a short series. Now, I can't even see it going 7 games. The Cavaliers have shown me nothing here. They've shown me absolutely nothing here. Now they're just playing for pride. I mean, terrible job by the Cavaliers. You got to think Golden State is going to win now. Very disappointed in the NBA. Very disappointed in these finals. And very disappointed in the Cleveland Cavaliers. As far as the NHL, Pittsburgh leads San Jose 2-1. We have the big game 4 tonight in San Jose. San Jose wins game 3 in overtime. All the games have been decided by 1 goal. Same old story for the Penguins. They outshoot the opposition. They have a lead. They give it up late. The Penguins have got away with that throughout the playoffs. It did burn them in game 3. They did let a lead slip away. They lose in overtime. This is a big game, of course, tonight. It could be 3-1 or 2-2. That's a big 2-game swing game tonight. So a huge game tonight. If San Jose wins, we got some drama. If Pittsburgh wins 3-1, this series is basically over. So we'll see what happens tonight in San Jose for the big game 4. As far as the baseball, real quick, American League East, Baltimore and Boston continue to lead there. Toronto, 8-2 their last 10. They've gone to 4 over. It's funny how quickly things can change in baseball. Last time I talked to you, Toronto was struggling. Now they've gone 8-2, and they're 4 games over, so they're starting to play better. Yankees in Tampa still not doing much. As far as the Central, Cleveland in first place. They've won 5 in a row. Cleveland's got a nice ball club. Kansas City lost 4 in a row. They got into first place. Now they fell back a little bit. They have a lot of injuries. Chicago 2-8 in their last 10. Chicago not playing well at all. Detroit's a 500 team, and Minnesota 16-40. That is abysmal. As far as the West, Texas leads Seattle by 3 games. Houston making a little move. They are 8-2 their last 10, starting to play better. Angels and Oakland, all sorts of work to do. As far as the National League East, Washington leads the Mets by 2 games. The Mets have a couple of injuries. Wright and Duda are on the DL. Miami's 4 out. Philly's going the other way. 2-8 their last 10. And Atlanta 16-40. Are you kidding me? Atlanta and Minnesota are 16-40. Oh my goodness, that is atrocious. Central Cubs keep on keeping on. They're 8-2 their last 10. Pittsburgh not playing well lately. 3-7 their last 10. Forget about Milwaukee and Cincinnati. I mean, they're not doing much this year. As far as the West, San Francisco 35-24. Dodgers 31-27. They did sweep Atlanta. They're 3 games back. They got Puig on the DL. They might release Crawford. He's in the minors now. Colorado, Arizona, and San Diego not playing well. Also, one team I forgot to mention in the Central, St. Louis, they're 30-27. They're kind of okay. They're not a great St. Louis team, but they're okay. You can never count them out. As far as some boxing over the weekend, Vargas and Salido fought to a draw. It could be fight of the year. If you haven't seen this fight, definitely go check it out on YouTube. Great fight between Vargas and Salido. We don't get too many great boxing matches anymore. That was a really good fight. And sad to see that Muhammad Ali passed away. I'm sure you saw all the things over the weekend. I watched a bunch of his old fights, had a bunch of his old interviews. He had some great quotes, I'll tell you. Muhammad Ali had some great fights. I mean, the fights with Joe Frazier are to die for. You watch the fights now in the heavyweight division, and it's like a joke. Muhammad Ali would knock out the whole heavyweight division in the same night. I mean, that's how bad the heavyweight division has gotten. Ali Frazier, oh, I wish I was around for those days. I would have loved to have seen Ali Frazier from the Garden. I mean, those fights were tremendous. Ali, I mean, every list you see for the greatest athletes in any sport, Ali's always in the top 3. It's usually Jordan, Babe Ruth, and Ali in some order like that. So Muhammad Ali, and boy, could he take a punch. He could take a punch. He had some chin. He fought all the best guys, Frazier, Foreman, Liston, I mean, Ken Norton. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, there is not heavyweight fights like that anymore. So Muhammad Ali, you will be missed. If you haven't caught any of the stuff on Muhammad Ali, please check it out. They replayed a lot of his great fights, a lot of his great interviews, a lot of good stuff. Go check it out. Muhammad Ali, like I said, you will be missed. As far as MMA over the weekend, Cruz beats Favor. Very one-sided fight. Cruz dominated the fight. And how about Bisping upsets Rockhold? That is a big upset. Rockhold was supposed to fight Weidman in a rematch. Weidman goes out with the injury. Bisping, on short notice, takes the fight and knocks out Rockhold. That was a big surprise there. Diaz, Conor McGregor set for August. We finally get all the Conor McGregor drama out of the way. He will be back in the ring in August. I don't like him fighting Diaz again at 170, but Conor McGregor's ego, he wants to do it. Brock Lesnar coming back to the UFC. I was surprised about that. Brock Lesnar, I thought, was retired from the UFC. Of course, he does the WWE. He's coming back to the UFC. He was a very popular fighter. On to the French Open. All right, on to the French Open. And I know I'm being redundant here, but I mean, let's be honest. The French Open was just unwatchable and unbearable. First, let me start with the women and get the women out of the way. Now, excuse me if I pronounce some of these names wrong, because a lot of these names are tough to pronounce. They're not household names. Muguruza beat Serena on the women's side. Congratulations to her. Serena Williams has gotten to the stage now where she's like Federer. She's getting long in the tooth. She's good enough to get to the finals, but now she's been losing a lot of finals. This is the third straight time she hasn't caught Steffi Graf. She's lost a couple times in the finals now in a row. Serena is, she's getting long in the tooth. She reminds me of Federer a lot. Good enough with the weak field to get to the finals, but now she's starting to lose a lot in the semis and the finals. It's like the third time she had a chance to tie Graf. Hasn't done it, so Serena loses there. Let's get to the men's tennis. Let's get to the men's tennis. Novak wins the French Open. He has now won 4 majors in a row. Has anyone seen, is anyone going to mention the lack of competition on the men's side? Am I the only one that sees this? You listen to McEnroe and Everett and all these tennis people, and they will make it seem like tennis is in the greatest spot in their history. This tournament was unwatchable. There was no drama, rain delays, people being hurt. Federer out with an injury, Nadal out with an injury, even Tonga, I would have settled for him, out with an injury. Let me tell you who Novak had to beat to win the French Open. You have to win 7 matches to win the French Open. French Open, a prestigious tournament. You figure you're going to have all your best players there. It's going to be really tough to win, right? Let me name the players he had to beat. And excuse me if I get these names wrong. First round, he beat Y.H. Liu. Second round, beat a man by the name of Darcis. Third round, Badin. Fourth round, Batista Agut. Have you heard of any of them? Fifth round, Berdych. He's never done anything. Sixth round, Thiem, who's a young player who a lot of people like, who has not done anything either. So let me go through those 6 rounds again. Y.H. Liu, Darcis, Badin, Batista Agut, Berdych, and Thiem. That gets you into the final of the French Open. Be honest, have you heard of any of those guys? If you ran into them in the street, would you know who they are? Could you pick them out of a lineup? If they were on television, would you recognize them? If they were sitting right next to you at work, would you know it's them? Those players have done absolutely nothing. They're a bunch of no-names. That's who he had to beat to get to the finals. So basically, he didn't have to beat anyone. Then he plays Murray in the finals. Murray is now 2-8 in finals. Murray is a completely overrated player. He's won 2 majors. They were both 4 years ago. He hasn't won a thing since he split with Lendl, who used to coach him. Murray is completely gutless as well. Murray wins the first set 6-3. Then he proceeds to get smashed the next 3 sets, especially 2 and 3. Did he even show up for sets 2 and 3? What did he lose? 6-1, 6-2? So you win set 1, 6-3. You think you're going to have a good match. He proceeds to lose sets 2 and 3, 6-1, 6-2. You talk about gutless. No fight. Goes out in 4 sets. Novak lost this whole tournament 2 sets. You got to lose 3 out of 5 to lose a game, to lose a match. He lost 2 sets the whole tournament. So in his, what did he play? 23 sets in the tournament. He won 21 of them. That's embarrassing. And the women's side was not much better. This young lady that won the women's side, she dropped her first set of the tournament, then won 14 in a row. She won in straight sets over Serena. Where's the drama? Where's the 5-set thrillers? Where's the 3-set thrillers on the women's side? Where's the great creative play? This is what you got from the French Open? This was nothing. The semifinals were a joke. The quarterfinals were a joke. Rain delay, rain delay, rain delay, injury, 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 straight set win, 6-1, 6-2, 6-1, 6-2. You realize Novak has only lost like 2 matches in the last year? I mean, this is a guy that could not beat Federer and Nadal pretty much. When Federer and Nadal were at the top of their game, he couldn't beat them. Now all of a sudden that they're going, when they were around, he was 8-8 in Slam finals. Now he's 12-8 because Federer is old. And Nadal is shot. He's got a million injuries, and he's completely shot. He can't even finish a tournament. This is the best tennis has to offer. This is the weakest field of tennis players in the history of tennis. You don't even have to watch these tournaments to know who's going to win. It is unbearable. I thought the NBA was unbearable to watch. The French Open is even worse. 2 weeks of this nonsense, and you listen to these people like Everett and McEnroe, and they'll tell you tennis is in the greatest spot it's ever been. It's a complete joke. There's no competition. There's nobody out there. There is literally no one with a pulse. I just gave you who Novak had to beat the first 6 rounds of the tournament. I couldn't identify them in a lineup. Y.H. Liu, Batista Agut, who are these players? They've done nothing. Nothing. Andy Murray is totally overrated. 2-8 in finals. Federer is old. Nadal has a million injuries now. Who else has won a major in the last 10 years? Del Potro? He won 1 major and now has wrist problems the rest of his career. Cilic? He was a 1-hit wonder. Wawrinka? Give me a break. He was a 2-hit wonder. This is the weakest field of players in the history of tennis. And I don't want to hear how Federer is the greatest, and Nadal's the greatest, and Novak's the greatest. First of all, the greatest player in tennis of all time was Rod Laver. Make no mistake about it, was Rod Laver. Rod Laver won 19 titles, and he missed 20 of them because he wasn't allowed to compete in them. He won 111 singles titles. Rod Laver was the greatest player of all time. And Rosewall, he's up there too. He won 23 titles if you include the pro championships, and he missed 46 majors because he wasn't allowed to play in them. Imagine how many championships he would have won. Did everyone forget Jimmy Connors? He won 109 singles titles. Did everyone forget John McEnroe? Between singles and doubles, John McEnroe won 156 tournaments. He played singles and doubles. A lot of the old guys played singles and doubles. None of these guys now play singles and doubles. Serena Williams does. Nobody on the men's side does. None of the top players do. Federer doesn't. Nadal doesn't. Novak doesn't. I mean, so they have a day off in between. When you play doubles, you have no day off. McEnroe won 156 singles and doubles championships. That's triple the amount of tournaments Novak's won. So I don't want to hear about this. You know, tennis likes to say, oh, since the Open era back in 69. What about the rest of the history of tennis? What, are we just going to exclude that? That's like excluding Babe Ruth's records. I mean, my goodness, tennis, ridiculous. There is no competition. It's a joke. You don't even have to watch any of this. It's mindless. 2 weeks, you got nothing. You got absolutely no drama. These games don't even go to 5 sets. They don't even go to 5 sets. You don't get any 5-set thrillers where the match is going back and forth. It's a one-sided joke. Let me say the players again. Y.H. Liu, Darcis, Badin, Batista Agut, Berdych, Thiem. That's who you got to play to win the French Open? Who are these guys? This guy's in the top 10 I couldn't even identify. It's pathetic. It's the worst field of players in the history of tennis. And these tennis people, they just want to focus on, you know, these records and what everyone's done in the Open era. And they're so desperate for stories. They were talking about one of the female players, how big her biceps were for 2 days. I mean, they were talking about, I think her name was Stosur, the Australian who got to the semifinals. They were talking about how big her biceps were. They have nothing to talk about. And these tennis people are lying to you. This is not the greatest era in tennis. This is a joke. I didn't even think the Sampras era was great with Sampras and Agassi. I mean, does everyone forget the Jimmy Connors era with Connors and McEnroe and Becker and Lendl and Borg? You had like and Edberg and Wieland, and the list went on and on. You could have 10 guys that can win any tournament. Now it's the same guys. When Sampras was around, he won every tournament. Then after that, it was Agassi who won every tournament. Then Federer won every tournament. Then when he got old, Nadal won every tournament. Then when he got hurt, now it's Novak who's winning every tournament. They want to make you believe all these guys are the greatest in history. They're not. Rod Laver is the greatest player in history. He won 19 majors if you include the Pro Slams, and he missed 20 majors because he wasn't allowed to compete. Rosewall won 23 majors if you include the Pro Slams. He missed 46 majors. Think about that. 46 majors. You have 4 majors a year. You have 4 majors a year. That's 11 years worth of majors he missed. Does everyone forget this? Does everyone forget Jimmy Connors has 109 singles titles? What does Novak have? 60-something? I mean, give me a break. McEnroe, 156 Singles and doubles titles. That's triple the amount Novak has if you count singles and doubles. Novak doesn't even play doubles. I mean, my goodness, the competition is so weak. And they act like Novak is so great. He was 8-8 in slam finals until Federer and Nadal got old and hurt. Now he's just beating weaklings. He's bullying weaklings. And Novak was no great ambassador to tennis when he was younger. He's a sore loser. When things go his way, everything's great. Sure, everything's great now. During a couple of rain delays, he's out there juggling. He's joking around with the lady with the umbrella. It's too easy. There's no one here. This is like Golden State playing Brooklyn. It's like Golden State playing Portland in the finals. Excuse me, there's nothing going on here. There's absolutely nothing going on in tennis. It's a joke. Where are the young stars? Where are they? Every time I hear about a young star, they fall flat on their face. It used to be these young stars used to push these old guys out. Where are they? Here's another problem. Americans don't play tennis anymore. They just don't. They have a million other sports to play. They got football, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, this, that. There's like a million things out of tennis. No Americans play tennis anymore. You have a big void there. A big void. America was known for big tennis players like Connors and McEnroe and Sampras and Agassi. They're gone now. They don't play tennis anymore. That's a huge void when you don't have the United States playing tennis anymore. I mean, look at the countries that are playing tennis now. It's small countries now. I mean, it is a joke, the field of tennis. It's unwatchable. Did anyone watch the French Open and enjoy it? Have you watched tennis the last few years and enjoyed it? And the problem with tennis is these top guys are not good at the same time. When Sampras was dominating, he had no competition. When Federer was dominating, he had no competition. Finally, Nadal came along, and Nadal beat him every time. Then Nadal was beating Novak every time. Now with Novak, with Nadal hurt and Federer being now Novak's dominating. He's got no one. Who, Andy Murray? Andy Murray's 2-8. Hasn't won a major in 4 years. Andy Murray has not won a major in 4 years, and he's only won 2. Wawrinka, 2-hit wonder. Cilic, you can't even find him. Give me a break. I mean, who are these players? Let me say it again for the third time. This is who you had to beat to win the French Open. Y.H. Liu, Dossis, Badin, Batista Agut, Berdych, Thiem, and then Murray, who's overrated. That's who you gotta beat to win the French Open? There's nothing here. It's a collection of junk. I might be able to beat a couple of these players. The first couple of guys are qualifiers. I mean, they're not even ranked. It's terrible tennis. It's awful tennis. I mean, I don't care about the records and this and the U.S. Open. It's just nonsense. And they tell you about the Open era, how great it is. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Rod Laver is the best player in the history of tennis, and Federer and Nadal and Sampras will tell you that. I mean, my goodness. I mean, tennis people are fooling you. 2 weeks of this? 2 weeks on ESPN, wall-to-wall coverage? And these tennis players are a bunch of prima donnas, too. They're a bunch of spoiled prima donnas. It's a non-contact sport. They are such prima donnas. Oh, my goodness, I can't take it anymore. Enough is enough. I just cannot take it. And then you got Wimbledon coming up in 3 weeks. Who's going to win that? What, the same couple of players are going to be in the finals again? Where are the young stars? Where are the young American stars? Where are they? Where are the up-and-comers? This is junk. This is garbage. To me, this French Open, but Novak was tainted. Nadal didn't even play in it. He didn't even play in the tournament. I mean, a total joke. I mean, an absolute joke. I'm sorry. Tennis, it's an absolute joke. And I'm sick of hearing these people like McEnroe and Everett and all these tennis people wax poetic about how great tennis is and the Big Four and all. It's nonsense. There's no competition. There is no competition here. This is a joke. This is like I said, this is like Golden State playing Brooklyn in the 6 games and then playing a home game against Portland and winning the NBA title. This is junk. This is absolute junk right now. The women's side is slightly better. You got a few young players. The men's side is an absolute disaster, and it's been like this for 20 years. I have an old Sports Illustrated article from when I was a kid, and on the cover it said, "Is tennis dying?" That was 20 years ago. Let me tell you something. Tennis is dead. Tennis is dead. It's a joke. It is a joke. They're still talking about Roger Federer like he's 24 years old. They're talking about like he can win Wimbledon. He's way past his prime. Nadal hasn't been healthy in 3 years. It's a total catastrophe, tennis. It's a joke. I cannot wait till this group of players is out, and maybe you'll get some up-and-comers to watch the same players win every single tournament. Do you realize Federer, Novak, and Nadal have won just about every tournament in like the last 10 years? I mean, that's an absolute disgrace to tennis. An absolute disgrace. I am sorry. This is a disgrace. I mean, I don't want to hear anyone tell me that these are the greatest players in the history of tennis. Rod Laver is the greatest player in the history of tennis. And I want to hear about the Open era and all this. What are you going to discount all the years prior to like 19, whatever it was, 68 or 69? All those years don't count. All those pro slams Laver and Rosewell won, they don't count, right? And what about all the slams Laver missed because he wasn't allowed to compete in them? Realize Laver missed 20 slams? 20 slams. That's like the equivalent of how many years? That's like, 5 years? And Rosewell missed 46 slams! That's like 11 years worth, more than 11 years worth, 11 and a half years worth of slams he missed, and he still won 23 if you didn't count the pro slams. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'm sorry I went on and on about this, but I can't take it anymore. I mean, it's 2 weeks of this garbage. I flip on the TV, there's the French Open, and there's the French Open. There's Everett telling me how great tennis is, and McEnroe talking about Stosur's biceps, and, you know, Serena Williams, and Federer again, and Federer, and Serena, and Nadal, and Novak, and the same player. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Wake me up when someone else wins in tennis. Wake me up when there's a good, young, up-and-coming star that knocks off one of these old, boring elephants. I can't take it anymore. Alright, so that wraps up the tennis. As you can see, I'm down on it. As far as this weekend, you have the Belmont, you have your College World Series, you got the College Softball World Series, you got Auburn and Oklahoma in the finals there. So there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. Listen, I'd like to tell you the NBA Finals is going to pick up. Maybe Cleveland gets Game 3, but they have no chance of winning this series. No chance. The series is over. You got your baseball. We'll see about the hockey. I mean, San Jose, if they win tonight, it'll be a series. Pittsburgh will still have home ice, but at least it will be a series. If Pittsburgh wins tonight, you're going to have no drama in that series either. So we'll see what we get. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. Thanks for the support as always. Thanks to you listening to my rant about tennis for about 5 minutes there. If you're betting the games, pick a lot of winners, make a lot of money. When is football getting here? Can't wait. Talk to you soon. Take care.